The word mithya implies, means first, and then implications are too many. Means that which draws its existence from something else, then something else means is it subsistence allowance. You draw some allowance from somebody. That fellow is different, you are different. So you can say, I depend upon my in-laws. So my existence depends upon them. These are all Indian, you see. This is all cultural. In India, so all that you have to do is, so marry the daughter of a rich man. You have nothing to worry. You have nothing to worry. But that's not easy. Because it's arranged marriage. No rich man will give. And so, it's very rare. So that's why we say. So this dependence and all that has to be understood. That's why I don't use the word dependence also. Dependence is an English word for which there is meaning. That has nothing to do with what we are talking about. The table is not dependent upon wood. Table is wood. Different. Therefore I said, it's an incidental attribute to the substance, whatever substance that is there. Here that is wood. Now, even wood has got the similar situation. Therefore, really speaking, the adhisthana is a non-substance. What we have been telling as Atma consciousness, which is self-evident and therefore self-existent. This therefore is important. What is the implication? The implication is what is not self-evident is mithya. Therefore, what is not mithya is self-existent and self-evident. Mithya is existence. Drawing from self-existence. So, the Satyam is always self-existent. Not always. Satyam is self-existent and Mithya is non-separate from that. Don't say anything else. Don't say dependent. Don't say draws its being, etc. That's only just a descriptive, some kind of a statement. The explaining statement. Honestly, Mithya is anything that is Mithya. Mithya is a reality word. It doesn't reveal an object. Mithya is not an object. Mithya is not table. Mithya is not chair. Mithya is not clock. Mithya is not pot. Mithya is not space. Mithya is not time. Mithya is not any of them. Mithya is not the body. Mithya is not eyes. Mithya is not ears. But ears are Mithya. Eyes are Mithya. Means you are talking in terms of reality. We are not talking of an object which we recognize through a word. Shabdan pratyay. And therefore, Mithya is a word revealing your understanding of the reality. Of your understanding of the reality of a thing, which cannot be dismissed as non-existent, which cannot be taken as existent, self-existent. That is the only existence really. The self-existent, then you have to say that which is not self-existent. So, the word Satyam refers only to one object, if it is an object, only one thing, that is Atma, which we recognize it as self-revealing consciousness, reveals everything else. And self-existing consciousness, because if it is self-revealing, the existence of consciousness is not a question, because it reveals itself. When consciousness reveals itself, you have to say consciousness is. Correct? What is alone can reveal itself or is revealed. What is can be revealed or it reveals itself. What is reveals itself is only consciousness, and it reveals everything else through the mind and senses, everything else. Understand? Reveals the existence of everything else through mind and senses. If it reveals the existence of everything else through mind and senses, then if there is, here just a small note, if there is, this is what they call, just you make a provision for later building. Explain. So when you build and you have exhausted your money, you leave some ugly, this protruding iron, steel rods to add later. To the beam, you add later. Steel rods. You will find India is full of this kind of houses. So money is gone. So further money required. Some of our hostels also are like that. So when we are building homes, then money is exhausted, therefore we wait for further money donation to come. So there, then afterwards we build. You understand now? So this is just for later build-up. Now if there is these objects that you come to know through a means of knowledge, like your mind and senses. So that which is objectified, revealed, is considered Jagat. This is the idam pratyaya vishaya. This is the object of pratyaya. And the one who reveals is the Atma, that is the asmat pratyaya vishaya. That is the one that is referred by I, Atma. Okay. And therefore anything that exists is, according to you, either self-revealing or it is revealed by the self. You understand this well? So self-revealing is only one thing in this world. Even though we say there are only two things existent. What is self-revealing is one thing, and the other thing is revealed by the self. How many self-revealing things are there? How many? You are the only one who is self-revealing. Everything else is revealed by the self. You don't have a second self. No. So you are there, I am there. This I have already covered. You are there, I am there. You are there means what do you mean by you? What do you mean by you? Your body. It is not only revealed by you, it's revealed by me. If you refer mind, I also reveal my mind. It's revealed to me. In fact, you should consult me. Therefore, I always say this. Somebody comes here, traveling 6 hours, 7 hours by car. Swamiji, I thought you were calling me, therefore I came. Then I have to tell. I welcome you. You are here. But I should tell you one thing. Because later she may quote something else. And therefore I said, I thought you called me. Suppose he says, I thought you asked me to commit suicide, therefore I committed suicide. I attempted. Very dangerous. Therefore I said, what you thought is not what I thought. I put it this way, more precisely. What you thought that I thought is not what I thought. So, it's very clear. I am the authority. I reveal my thought. My thought is revealed. Therefore, you are only anything that you say me is only what is revealed by you. And that is revealed by me also much more intimately. You have to do guesswork, I do straight. Okay. Therefore, there is only one self-revealing self which exists. Swamiji, how do we know that self exists? It's only self-revealing. Therefore, what should I say? The self-revealing consciousness doesn't exist at all. But I put lot of air and say, you will accept that. The self-revealing consciousness is just a void. When you realize, then leave self-revealing consciousness. When you realize this void, how to realize this void? When you realize this void, how will you realize? I am void. You have achieved Nibbana. Nibbana is nirvana. You have achieved nirvana. What will be the final net result? I am zero. Zorro is better. It is, therefore it is revealing. The ease is consciousness. It's self-revealing. And everything else it reveals. Through mind and senses. If there is, this is what I want to put a note here for building block. And that is, if there is an Ishvara, if there is Ishvara, you don't need an article before that. If there is Ishvara, that Ishvara must be revealing everything without mind and senses. Because mind and senses are created, correct? Mind and senses are created. Therefore, the individual has to depend upon the means of knowledge. To say this exists, that exists, self exists, for which nobody requires a means of knowing. I exist, no means of knowing. Because self-revealing, I am. Everything else you require a means of knowing. To say is. Then what is Ishvara? The one who knows without a means of knowing. Then only he can be all-knowing. If also he requires the means of knowing, if Ishvara requires the means of knowing, that means ignorance is there. If ignorance has to be removed through means of knowing operation, gaining knowledge, that means you will always be ignorant. And little bit of knowledge, little bit of ignorance, little bit of knowledge, little bit of ignorance. And therefore you will be what? Not all-knowing. You will be small-knowing. That means what? Let him be small-knowing. He is not Ishvara. He is Apana. Anishvara. मेरा अंकल है टेक्सास में he owns oil field. That's why Texas. Texas uncle means, so he's rich. Rich, he doesn't know how much money he has got. That kind of rich, Texas uncle. That's all. Texas uncle. But he's now very old. He doesn't hear. बोलता है, anything you say. And a dynamite goes. He asks question, why is smoking there? So that much deaf, என்ன புகையிறது? These are Tamilian expressions. Typical. Every state in India has got some of these very interesting expressions. So when you go around, you collect a lot. That is Texas uncle. Ishvara will be just as simple, like one of us. That is to be proven later. We'll leave it now. Therefore, what is self-existent also is one thing. What is self-revealing is the same thing. One thing, same thing. This is important. This is one thing, that is one thing. No. What is self-revealing is only one thing, that is not a thing, that is you. What is self-existent is the same thing, that is you. That means everything else is not self-revealing, revealed by the self. Same way. Everything that is revealed by the self is not self-existent. Means what? It is non-separate from the self. Understand? It is prakashya, it is asat. This is the asat. It is prakashya, it is revealed by the self. Revealed means it is lighted up, it comes to light by the self through the mind and senses. And it is asat. Only one thing is self-existent and everything else is non-separate from the self-existent consciousness. Therefore, Chit is Sat. Chit is Sat. This is what you say, Satchit. So, Chit consciousness is Sat. You understand what is Sat? Is. They are not two attributes. It is not one Atma having two attributes. One consciousness, Atma, has got consciousness as its attribute. And existence, another attribute. Then what is Atma? Cheppandi. What is Atma? Atma has got two attributes. One is consciousness and the other is Sat. How do you know Atma has got consciousness attribute? How do you know? I don't know. Somehow I know. How do you know? Atma consciousness attribute means Atma there is another thing. No, it's not another thing. Consciousness is Atma. That's what we are talking. There is no other Atma. If you say, Swamiji, I felt there is some Atma inside. That means you are conscious of Atma? Yes, I was conscious of Atma. That is object of consciousness. That is called anatma. Understand? The object of consciousness. But what about this blue light that I saw? Blue light that you saw? That is the beginning of the problem that is coming. This is called, this is a forerunner of what is coming. There's no blue light. But Swamiji, you cannot deny the blue light that I experience. My experience is real. Blue light. That makes it more alarming to me. Therefore, please understand. The Chaitanyam, Chit is Sat, that is. You add any number of objects. Being Sat, and any object that you have is also Sat. Is also Sat. How do you say that? Because Sat is self-existent. The object is not self-existent. That means it has to be non-separate from self-existent. Then that object is only an incidental attribute to Sat. It is an incidental attribute to Satchit Atma. Space, incidental attribute to Satchidatma. Time, incidental attribute to Satchidatma. Galaxy, incidental attribute to Satchidatma. Forces, incidental attribute to Satchidatma, strong force, weak force. Means, incidental attribute to Satchidatma. Ends, same thing. Heaven, if there is one, incidental attribute to Satchidatma. Dharma, incidental attribute to Satchidatma. Karma, punya, papa, incidental attribute to Satchidatma. All the laws, means and ends, action, reaction, cause, effect, all incidental attribute to Satchidatma. My uncle, dismantle the uncle. How to dismantle the uncle? Take the uncle, physical body elements and cells, the constituents, everything incidental attribute to Satchidatma. Uncle also Satchidatma. When uncle says, I am so and so, that I am is Satchidatma. Like you are, when you say I am Satchidatma, and that I am also Satchidatma. Therefore, your own body, mind, sense complex is incidental attribute to Satchidatma. Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, severally, as a total, both the Dehadvayam, both these bodies, incidental attribute to Satchidatma. The whole universe, how much you know? Whole universe. This is all whole universe. Whole universe. What is behind you can't see. Whole universe. All humbug world. Whole universe. That is why nothing works. The whole is never understood. God is everywhere. You leave the back behind. That's why there is back pain, okay? And therefore, so you leave the back. Leave everything behind you. You see? Then you have to go round once. God is everywhere, turn around. And then say, God is everywhere. What about up? What about down? What is beyond your eyes and ears? And there are, here itself, lot of frequencies, sounds are there. You don't hear. Yeah? All the ants talk to each other. You see when they are going, one fellow is coming here, one fellow going this way, and then both of them stop stop at each other, meeting point, then they talk to each other. So, okay, I will come tomorrow. But you don't hear a thing. You don't hear anything because your ears are gross. There is ultraviolet rays, there is ultrasound is there. Sub ultra. So you are living in a world, a level. You require certain decibels. Okay? That's why you have got a mic. So that you understand. In spite of all that, something people always ask the other person, what did he say? When people are laughing, there is always one in my audience who is asking the other person, what did he say? Even now. That's how it is. So we live in a level very shallow. So our all is a nuisance. It doesn't mean much. If you really understand your limitations, then your expression of all really covers what is all. Known plus unknown. All. All that existed before, that will come to exist later, that which exists now, keep on changing. All. With all the laws of changing. Inner laws, external laws, all laws, one laws. We can look at them in 100 different ways. We will come to that later. Therefore, all of them are incidental attribute, singular. Incidental attribute, all is all collective all. All is incidental attribute to what? Satchidatma. Therefore, what is Satchidatma? Satchidatma is Anandaha. Anantaha. You understand? Satchidatma is what? Anantaha. Satchit Anantaha. Satchit Anantaha. Nobody wants to, Swamiji, I want to be Ananta. Nobody tells this. In the world, nobody wants to be Ananta. I want to be Ananta. What is Ananta? You know, Ananta means endless. Ant nahi hota hai. I want to be endless. Limitless. Nobody really wants to be limitless, endless. Nobody wants to. Then everybody wants to be what? Happy. You know, I want to be happy. Every language has got a word for happiness. Therefore, so this Ananda is a known experience. In this known experience, there is a certain freedom from being confined to certain things, small things. In the experience of Ananda, you are out of the confinement. there is no lack. Swamiji, in happiness also there is lack. What is a lack? It's not adequate happiness. There is a lack. If you say it's not adequate, then to that extent, happiness is edited, abridged. It is limited, inhibited. It's inhibited happiness. Suppose it is not inhibited, Ananda. Nanda also happiness. Ananda means what? You are all happiness. Ananda. A is an enhancing prefix. So that's experiential. Ananta is knowledge-based. See the difference. The informed person would never ask for Ananda. He would ask for freedom from limitation. Freedom from the struggle to become somebody. That struggle implies I am limited, insignificant. Freedom from that insignificance. It's all the same, Ananta. That is the informed person's choice of word would be Ananta, not even Ananta, freedom from limitation. Because Ananta is limitless, which is freedom from limitation. Limitless. What does it mean? Freedom from limitation. Ananta also is a negative word. Freedom from limitation. That which does not have a limit. In other words, Purnaha, the whole. That's a positive word. Means this much alone. Because you are not really attempting to become the whole. That means you want to become a samsari in a different way. This is called spiritual samsara. All that you pick up is only some words. You become snobbish. Well, what do you do? I don't do anything, I'm spiritual. Spiritual means what you do. In fact, one fellow told me like this. I asked him in Calcutta, this fellow is some from America or something. And he asked me, he met me and then he looked at me and then, oh, he's spiritual. And then he was just after looking at me, he became quiet and closed his eyes and opened his eyes. I am a very simple person. I don't close eyes and open eyes. All this I don't do. And so this, and I asked him, when he opened the eyes, I asked him, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? He said, I am from Benares. Oh, where are you originally from? Originally from America, I think. He told, I am from America. And, do you live in Benares? I live in Benares. How long? I mean, for 2 years. So what do you do in Benares? Are you studying or something? Because Benares is a place to study also. So people go and study. So do you study in Benares University or something? Are you studying? No. Then what do you do? I don't do anything. Really, these are all his own words. I'm not. I am not making up. It's all words. I don't do anything. You don't do anything. Swami, I'm spiritual. I smoke marijuana. See, he says that. He thinks that I will approve him. So he is in that kind of a group. Spiritual. Damarodam miti gam. This fellow, this is true. The whole thing is, he is so serious, he thinks that I will take him along with me. So that is his thinking. Somebody made him think like that. And that fellow is this one. I mean, this kind of a clothes he wears. He has made him think like that, and therefore he tells me that I will just take him as one of the same tribe. Myth. The word Ananta is a technical word. Only informed person will say, I want to be free from becoming. You don't become the whole. You are the whole. That much understanding must be there. Otherwise, you become a snob. The experiential word Ananda is the most dangerous word in Vedanta. That is why you don't hear me talking too much about happiness. Nothing wrong with happiness word. Because we are hooked already to that. That is what we are seeking. This fellow says, I don't do anything. Because that's all happiness. You don't do anything. Then there is an urge to do something, to be different, and you take them. Then you take marijuana, then the urge to become is, I can use our author's word, dissipated. Understand? How conscious I am, you don't know. How many words I don't use, you don't know. Why I don't use. Everything has reason. Why I don't use happiness? In the whole introduction I never used happiness. Why? Because already we are hooked to it. In my introduction I said freedom from becoming. You cannot, you have to understand or you don't understand, no problem. If you don't understand, I have no problem. If you understand, it's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with the word. The word happiness is already the word that makes you go after things. it postpones. Another experience you want. Spiritual experience. This is called spiritual samsara. You understand what is spiritual samsara? I want to gain the bliss of Atma. Ananda, B capital, bliss. And Satchidananda, they will say, existence, knowledge, bliss. And therefore the next question will be, I know that I am eternal consciousness, but I don't understand I am bliss. That is to be experienced. That is the next. That's called spiritual samsari. Samsari is one who wants to become. If you go after heightened ananda, bliss, B capital, simply just put B capital. Another fellow will put all LISS also capital. Another fellow will make it bold. Because nobody knows what it is all about. He will keep on making it bigger and bigger. People are crazy. And therefore it's so important to recognize people want ananda. Therefore, this ananda is used in the sense of ananta. Because it is going along with satyam. If it doesn't go along with satyam, you can talk of experienced ananda, which also is the same. It is satyam. And nothing is separate from satyam. Everything else is non-separate from satyam. And that is ananda. Satchidananda. This is what they call samanadikaranyam. The word ananda should be as good as the word sat. The word sat should be as good as chit. The word chit should be as good as good as ananda. Ananda should be as good as chit, as well as sat. There is no difference. There is only one thing. 3 different words to point out the negation of 3 different, 3-fold limitation. I am time bound. I am ignorant. I am dukhi. Becoming person, all these are negated. And that is such ananda. Everything else is mithya. Everything else is means what? Everything else is Satchidananda. But Satchidananda is not anyone else. This is vastu, this is the reality that we have to understand here. So sputam uchyate. Very clearly, the asatvam is the jagataha asatvam, dehadvayasya asatvam, sputam uchyate. So I have made it sputam. And this sputam has got a lot more, so a subject matter is involved. We will see all that. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.